Fishing is a passion for me. It's how I relieve stress after a long week in the office. It's how I clear my head when I have a lot of things going on in my life. I'm not going to lie and say it's a substitute for my relationship with Christ. Obviously, that's the most important thing any person can have. But it's definitely one of the tools I think God has given me as an escape, where I'm able to get out, enjoy His creation, and have a ton of fun at the same time. As amateur anglers, doing this as a hobby, we have to plan our fishing trips well in advance. This means scheduling time off work and also making sure that we're working around family commitments as well. This is just part of it. Once that trip is scheduled, the anticipation can make it hard to function the days before the expedition. And then sleeping the night before can sometimes be next to impossible. This was the case I found myself in on the night of February 22nd, 2024. I was amped up in anticipation of what I hoped was going to be a great bass fishing outing. I was heading for Lake Bass Trout near Austin. The pre-spawn is still on, and we all know that during the pre-spawn there's always a possibility that you're going to catch a new personal best. Well, I did, and this is how it happened. So my wife and I got out to the lake a little bit before sunup, and I unloaded my kayak, loaded up my fishing gear, and then pulled it down to the ramp. I have a sort of routine I do before every trip. It can be monotonous, but it helps me ensure I don't forget anything I might need while I'm out on the water. So I have a great fish finder, but unfortunately it doesn't have built-in maps. It does have plotting, but with that in mind, a recent investment I made was to purchase the full version of the Navionics app for Android. So with this, what I'm able to do is I'm able to go ahead of time, look at the topo maps of the lake I'm going to be heading out to, and then go ahead and mark some spots I want to try. This way I kind of go out with a plan, and I'm not just winging it. And this definitely helps me have a plan of attack. So with my trusty maps in hand, I started heading across the lake to the first spots I had marked. Let's see what happens. So within just a few minutes, I reached the first spot I had marked on the map. It was right off a point in about 10 to 12 foot of water. And so what I started doing is throwing a white swim jig.
Okay.
I threw this around for a little while, but unfortunately didn't catch anything. Threw that a while, and I worked my way around the point until I got to even shallower water, and then I started throwing a square bill. Honestly, at this point, I'm trying a little bit of everything just to see if I can get a bite. I don't care what size, I just want to feel that tug on the end of my line. You can see here on my fish finder that I was marking quite a few suspended fish. So I thought this would probably be a good time to go ahead and throw a jerkbait. Within a few minutes, Eureka! I hooked into my first fish. You know, sometimes it just takes that first bite, that first catch, and we get our confidence back and we're ready to go. Wasn't a big one, but hey, it finally was a sign of life. Well, you may have heard this saying, don't leave fish to find fish. I was here where this X is, and I decided it's time to make a move. So I went around this bend into this little creek area and wanted to check it out and see what I might find. So I left fish and I found 0 fish. I actually didn't see any at all in the new area I was in. So I decided to head back to the area that I was at earlier. At least I knew there were fish there, even if they weren't that catchable. When I got back into the area I had been in earlier, I decided to go ahead and switch to my #1 confidence technique. And of course, if you've seen any of my videos, you know what that is. It's the drop shot. Well, within a few minutes, I hooked into my first good-sized bass of the day. I guess it surprised me so much, and I didn't set the hook hard enough. Ended up losing them. The good news here is I had gained some confidence in my angling abilities, and I told myself I can do this. I pulled out my phone, looked at my map. The area I was in was a spawning flat, and I noticed there was a pretty steep drop-off in the middle, and this led to much deeper water. My thought process was this: what if the big girls aren't quite ready to fully commit to the shallows yet, and they still want to be close to an area where they can easily retreat to deeper water if the mood hits them? I started pedaling in the direction of the drop-off. At the same time, I'm watching my sonar, and at the point I started seeing the edge getting significantly steeper and deeper, I backed off a little and threw my drop shot. As bass anglers, typically when we have cloudless bluebird skies and clear water, our first go-to is going to be natural color lures. In this case, however, since I knew I was going to be going into deeper water, I figured it might be a better idea to keep a darker lure on my line. So what I was using was a 4-inch black and blue Yum Dinger, and I had it rigged wacky style. Within just a few minutes, this happened. A fish. Big fish. Big fish. Big, come on, baby. Holy crap. This could be my new PB for real. This thing is huge. Golly. Oh my God. I thought I was stuck. This is definitely a PB. I don't know how much this thing weighs, but it's definitely my biggest ever. Look at that fish. That's got to be 7, 8. Well, needless to say, after that, my confidence and excitement were through the roof, and it really didn't matter if I caught anything else the rest of the day. Now, I say that, but of course, we all know that fishing is always more fun when you're catching. Yeah, I did catch a few more on my drop shot and also caught a pretty nice one on the red square bill. So all in all, what started out as a slow day turned out to be one of the best fishing trips I've ever been on. And once again, I was reminded that this is why we don't mind getting up before the sun, heading out on the road when most folks are still warm and cozy on their beds. This is why we do what we do.